I don't know what's going on. Okay, so awesome. So it says we're live. So let me just make sure. I'm gonna check on my phone just to make sure that we're live. Um, yes, awesome. So we're live on the group. Awesome, cool. So, oh great, and it's creating the what is it called? The auto caption. So awesome. Super excited. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure because like sometimes when you do some stuff from one thing and the other, it's just things work and some stuff doesn't work. So thank you. Hello everybody. So I'm here with the amazing Leslie Stevens, and I'm gonna have Leslie introduce herself, but we want to talk to you guys today about just everything in regards to energy and focus and just really working with your body and health and all of the whole 9 yards, because I know a lot of us have suffered through that in the past year at least, where we were trying to figure out what to do, and especially health, and I think also energy and focus probably took a big toll. I know my focus is still all over the place because I'm trying to ship the kids off of to summer camp, which is going to be starting next month, so I'm super excited about that. But until then, it's just craziness around here, so we're trying to sort of implement a schedule and focus on that, but sometimes it just doesn't happen, and you know how kids are, they just have so much energy and they just need to channel it someplace, and most of the time it's just me breaking up fights over here. So yeah, so Leslie, I guess introduce yourself, and I guess just to tell us a little bit about you, and yeah, just so nice to actually meet you, I guess, virtually.
Yes, I'm so happy to connect. Well, I am Leslie Stevens. I am a high performance lifestyle coach. So I'm actually a registered dietitian and a certified personal trainer. So I get the best of both worlds. And
Awesome.
my main focus is working with women in service-based businesses because it's my mission to refill the cup of the women who give the most.
Yeah.
So I help them really up level their body and their mind so that they can do more and be more and achieve more and just like live their life to the fullest. Because as female entrepreneurs, we give so much of ourselves. And it's so easy for us to give, and never refill our cup back up. So, like, we look back months and years and we're completely drained, and we're like, I can't get any more done. I can't give any more to my clients. What do I do? And it's like you got to take a step back and figure out where you can put things into your day to refill your cup, to get all that energy. And I know you talk a lot about manifestation too, which is huge in terms of your energy. So you want to make sure your energy is in the right place so you can manifest everything you want to in your business.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things that I talk about is, as a coach, especially, and somebody who provides a service, you are your product. So if you want to be providing the highest level of service, you need to be putting your best into your product. If you were in a product-based business, you wouldn't kind of like put half into whatever the product is. Like, you would make sure it has all the right bits and pieces put together so it provides the best thing. So why aren't we doing that for ourselves? And I know after the past year, like, everything has just gone like to basic survival mode. We have to kind of get ourselves back out of that because we have so much to give, and there are so many people in your group that have such powerful services to provide that the world needs from them. So to nourish themselves is only going to enable them to give so much more. It makes such a bigger impact on the world.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And it's funny that you say that because I've been working a lot lately on just myself and just, I guess, raising my frequency, raising my vibe, my energy, because it's so true. I mean, whenever you show up a certain way, right? I mean, your clients just get attracted to you, but then you don't want to work with somebody that's like, yeah, well, I guess we can do that. You want to have somebody that's just really, I guess, that resonates with you, right? That you feel like, wow, I want that person's energy. And like you said, and especially as female entrepreneurs, or just, women in general, we have just so much stuff that we deal with. I mean, family, kids, this, that, and it's just there's just a lot of stuff that just drains us, basically. I mean, at least that's how sometimes, I find myself. That's just, by the time you're done with making food for the kids, and everything else, and then also last year I was homeschooling, so it was just, I was like, oh my god, I can't do that, like.
Yeah.
And like you said, so yeah, definitely. And with the whole manifestation, same thing. You have to really, your energy has to be a certain way, or it's just not gonna happen.
Mhm. And we don't put enough intention into choosing the right types of foods to create that energy that we need.
Yeah.
Something that I recognize a lot, specifically with high level women, is they're simply just not eating enough. Like all of those things that you listed out that you do, like all of those things take energy.
Yeah.
And we have it kind of programmed in our brain like we are women, we are feminine, we're not supposed to eat as much, we're supposed to have small portions, low calories, all
Eat
of these
salad.
things. Yeah, just a salad, the bare minimum to keep us going.
Yeah.
When in reality, like, entrepreneurs are the professional athletes of the business world. So why aren't you fueling yourself like one?
Wow, that's good. I like that. I never saw it as that, but it's true. Yeah.
Yeah, you're wearing so many hats. You have to play so many different roles,
Mhm.
and you're just at a different level.
Yeah.
So it's like you need to be nourishing your body in a way that you can show up as that,
Yeah.
have all of that energy, be that leader, and
Yeah.
hold that power for your clients. So, like, my number one thing is like, look at how much you're eating, and the fear of weight gain starts to play into that too. And I know so many people have struggled with their weight after the last year,
Yeah.
just from all of the stress, not moving as much, not being able to go outside, all of those things. But if you're eating the right things, your body weight will balance out.
Yeah.
You'll be in a good place, you'll be in a healthier place, and then that concern of weight kind of drops by. But again, that's another thing that as women we focus on our weight so much, and we have to show up for everybody. Like a lot of us have to show up on our social medias, we show up in front of our clients, so we worry about what we look like.
Yeah.
And that starts to become a barrier for a lot of people if they're not confident in the way they look.
Yeah.
But even if you start taking the steps to take care of yourself, if you start moving a little bit more, even if it's just dancing in your living room and eating a few more vegetables, you don't even have to have like a huge physical transformation. Just those actions are going to start to show up in your confidence.
Yeah.
And people can see that.
Yeah.
In reality, most people don't really like pay attention to what you look like. If you're providing like a phenomenal service, they want you to show up as yourself 100%.
Yeah.
In all of your power. But you have to have that confidence within yourself to be able to show up like
Yeah.
that.
And I think like what you said. I like what you said, that because it doesn't really matter, how you look or what. It's just like you said. You just need to basically know that you're the best looking woman, and that's it. You just need to, like you said, if you show up like that, nobody can tell you no. Nobody can tell you that. People are like, oh, you have wrinkles, this and that. Like, no, I don't give a. You know what I mean? Like, no,
Yeah,
that's
who cares?
who cares?
I can change your life.
It's raw. You know what I mean? Everybody gets there. You know what I mean? So like, it's yeah. It's just, you have to, I think, really. And I think that's been a topic a lot. I've talked with some other female entrepreneurs, that the whole topic of self-love, I think last year also kind of manifested a lot because of the whole thing that we were home, and then it was like, well, you spend your whole day in your PJs, and then it's like, okay, well, then maybe you transition to some leggings or something, but like, and then it was just like, well, it's sort of like, well, your hair is not done, you don't have put no makeup on it, and I think a lot of us really realize that, hey, you know what? It's fine just being you, rolling out of bed and just, you know what I mean? Like, why not just be your authentic self, you know? So, and I think a lot of us just really realize, well, it's okay to be just you. You don't have to be that perfect, photoshopped, airbrushed person. So yeah, so that's awesome. I love that.
I think everyone really loves the authenticity that this year has brought. Like people
Yeah.
are literally just like, I'm showing up as me.
Yeah.
And that's what attracts people to them.
Yeah.
And my personal health and wellness journey is what actually got me to the place of
Hmm.
being able to have the confidence to even show up or even start a business. And I've
Yeah.
worked with a lot of women who just were so self-conscious and
Hmm.
so unhealthy with physically and mentally. And once they started to take those steps to take care of themselves, all of that confidence they built up by taking
Yeah.
these actions with their health, it transitioned over to them being like, well, why couldn't I start a business? Like,
Yeah.
I can get through all of like making all these hard choices with choosing like something healthier over pizza every once in a while, and then that just transforms all the choices they make in their life, and then they're like, okay, I can get through anything
Yeah.
if I can make those hard decisions. Now I can start this business, and I like that's probably the most rewarding part of my job is seeing people's confidence just soar. People think it's such a like a surface level transformation. They're like, oh, you just help people lose weight, you just help people look better. And I'm like, no, I like to say I'm in the business of happiness because it's the confidence,
Hmm.
it's like the self growth, it's really feeling your best because so
Yeah.
many of us have no idea how good we're actually supposed to feel.
Yeah. No, it's true. I would love to hear more about what got you, I guess, started in the business, because, like you were saying, your whole your self journey started. I guess you propelled you into this business. So I would love to hear more about, I guess, how you ended up, being, I guess, like that happiness coach.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, when I was younger, I was the typical American kid. I loved my fast food. I had candy after anything. That was an event. I was overweight. I It wasn't so significant that people would ever be like, "Oh, you're overweight. We need to take care of you," or
Mhm.
something needs to change. It was to a point where I was sick very
Mhm.
often though, and I thought that was normal. I thought as a kid, okay, you get sick 3 or 4 times a year and then you just keep going.
Mhm.
But then it really started to take its toll as I got older on my confidence and
Mhm.
everything that comes with, being an adolescent. You're insecure anyways, and just
Yeah.
having your weight and health issues compound on top of that. It pulled me into a really deep depression.
Wow.
So I struggled with that for, I would say, 3 or 4 years.
Mhm.
And then when I got to college, I tried to move as far away as possible from where I grew up
I
because I
think we
thought,
all have to go through that, right? It's like everybody wants to like go like far away. It's like as if
yeah,
you want to start a new life or something. Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like I thought, okay, if I remove myself physically from this area to a different area, I can start over or something will magically change. And I realized once I got there, I was like, I'm still incredibly unhappy. And if something's going to change, it's going to have to be me who changes it. And
Mhm.
it's going to be something within me instead of something external that I'm waiting for
Mhm.
something to show up because for years it had never showed up and no one could fix me.
Yeah.
So I ended up actually as an elective in a nutrition course where I was actually studying criminology for my
Oh
degree.
wow.
So I was like, it was just the universe pulling me and being like,
Yeah.
you are meant to go somewhere else.
Wow.
So I fell into that. I started to be like, okay, well, I was uncomfortable in my body physically. I knew how to exercise. I started kind of figuring out that relationship with nutrition at the same time. So I started just going for it. I was like, I have nothing to lose. Like, if I do all of this work and if it doesn't turn out, well, the worst thing that could happen is I've learned something.
Yeah.
So I actually started to pull myself out of this depression by just slowly, just like showing up, just doing one thing at a time. Because in depression, nothing sounds good. You don't want to do anything. You don't even want to get out of bed. But knowing you can accomplish just one thing a day, it like allowing that to compound then grows your confidence within yourself to be like, okay, I'm not stuck here. There's a way out. I just have to keep climbing. And once I started to see results, once I started to feel happier, I was like, okay, well, I've seen so many people in my life struggle with this same exact thing. If I'm going to help anybody else do this, I'm going to make sure I know exactly what to do and I'm telling them the right things. So I changed my degree. I got my undergraduate degree in nutrition. I then went to get my master's degree in nutrition and then become a registered dietitian and a personal trainer at the same time.
Nice.
Just so I could help everybody else around me who struggled with the same thing. And then after I figured out all of that stuff, as I got into my career, I started to learn more about the relationship of the gut-brain axis. And I was like reflecting on where I started, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I was actually eating myself happier because the food you eat can change your mood.
Yeah.
And before that, I thought I was a loser. I thought I would never like accomplish anything. I didn't know what my direction was. I didn't know if I could help people. But then once I figured all of that stuff out, that's when I was like, I need to go all in because I know how to help people and tie all of this together. So I started my business, and now I've had my coaching business for almost 4 years.
That's
and
awesome.
I love it.
That's awesome. That's like, I mean, congratulations on that. And it's so true. It's I had a whole health awakening or journey also last year, and I learned so much stuff. And it's so true, like what you were talking about, the gut brain axis, like it's so true. And my kids, they don't like, I mean, I didn't grow up in the US. I mean, I grew up half and like I came here as a teenager, and but so I was never raised on fast food and stuff like that, right? But like you said, people are, over here it's just, it's fast food, right? And my kids say that they don't like it because I'm very picky about what they eat. And they're like, oh, why can't we eat fast food? Oh, but this person eats this. Why can't we have those chips? Why can't, and I'm like, no, because they're just not healthy for you. And it just, I'm trying for them to kind of understand that whole, which is difficult because they're little, they want to, have cookies and candies and live off of that 24/7, right? But it's so important really because, like you said, that whole gut brain axis, it's like you said, I mean, it really changes your mood. And we think like you said, like, okay, we're depressed because this, but it's actually, the foods that we're eating is just, let's say, literally clogging us up. And then, and then basically that's going into your brain. It's just fascinating. I mean, totally fascinated how the body is and how the body works and everything. Like, yeah, it's been fun to learn so much stuff. Even though I'm not in that field, but it's just like I basically had to, just because I had to change things in my life, right?
Yeah.
But it's just, and the thing is, doctors really don't talk about that stuff. That's the one thing. Doctors think like, oh, nutrition is not really important. And that's something like, I'm like, what do you mean? Like, now I see that nutrition is 100%. It doesn't even matter. I think, I mean, I would love to have your input on that, but like, the way I see it, the way from what I'm seeing myself, is I think like working out is not even as important, I think, as nutrition, really. I mean, I know it's important, but I think nutrition is basically the bigger bucket, as opposed to working out. I mean, I guess you can, chime in on that.
No, I 100% agree with that. Even like as a trainer and a dietitian, my number one focus 90% of the time is on the nutrition, because that old saying, like, you can't outwork a bad diet is 100% true.
Yeah.
And I think exercise is an easier goal for a lot of people, and that's why it's so easy to focus on. You can show up for 30 minutes, but making the decision 3 times a day plus how many snacks you're going to eat, that seems a little bit more daunting, and it's the much more difficult thing to kind of get a grasp on if you didn't grow up eating that way or have somebody to really guide you in doing that. But nutrition is the foundation of all of our health. Like it really is. And what we eat even impacts our decision making.
Wow.
So it's like the foods that we choose are then influencing what decisions we make. So if we're not making healthy decisions in what we're putting in our body, our decision making is going to be poor, and our focus is going to be poor, and our productivity is going to be poor. So it's this kind of this compounding issue. And I had this thought the other day, and I wrote it down on my phone, but I haven't told anybody yet, so I'll tell you.
Awesome.
But I was like, okay, everything you put into your body will impact your gut microbiome, which is now considered to be an organ in our body because it has such a huge influence. So I was like, we're like our own little science experiments. You know how you create the volcano when you're a kid and you drop the thing in and it causes an explosion. Like, we eat something, we create this chemical reaction in our body. Is it going to have a positive outcome, or is it going to be kind of like a volcano? And I was like, we're our own little science experiment every time we choose to eat something.
That's true. It's so true though, because I've heard so many times of I've read I mean, basically, like, last year, basically I had a recurrent, cancer diagnosis, right? And so basically, so I decided to basically I was like, no, I'm going to educate myself. And first thing I did was, I looked at nutrition, health, and all this stuff. I was like, okay, I need to understand how the body works, what is happening, why, and all this stuff, right? So I overhauled my whole lifestyle, my whole nutrition, all this stuff, right? And it's funny that you're saying that, because it's so true. It's like I'm realizing that really whatever we put in our bodies, like you said, we're our own little volcano. It can either go this way or that way, And it's so funny because you really get I guess once obviously I know my body. I've been living in it for a few years, right? So it's funny that I'm realizing that, okay, if I eat something, okay, no, this doesn't feel good, or yes, this feels good, or this is making me tired, or this is making me sluggish, or you know what I mean? Like it's really at this point where I'm just able to kind of pinpoint different things, and it's just like you said, I guess it's because really what we feed is really what's, I guess, creating a reaction in your body, and I guess it can go either positive or negative, right?
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned two things specifically. One, that it took something kind of very, very powerful to make the change, where so many of us take our health for granted. We really do, until something comes up where we're forced to be aware. And that's why nutrition kind of falls to the background in terms of healthcare, even though it's the foundation of everything. And that's because it's more of a preventative.
Yeah.
And as soon as you have something come up, they want to give you medication that's been tested and all of that stuff. But nutrition also plays a huge role in addition to that medication. So one of the things over the last year I was hoping was that would kind of bring more people into the realm of taking care of themselves at a whole new level. Because the second thing you said, you've become way more aware of how certain foods are making you feel. And how many of us have gone through the day for years and had that afternoon slump,
eating when you're working. Yeah, everybody's like, oh, it's 2:00, I need a nap, right?
Yeah. Or you go out for pizza and something like that, and you feel awful 2 hours later, and you just you're like, that's normal.
Yeah.
That's not normal. Like,
Or
you
you go to
shouldn't.
happy hour, right, with your coworkers, or you know what I mean, and then you're like the next day you're like, oh my god, you can't get out of bed, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you're like, okay, that's okay. That's just this hangover. We'll be fine
Yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah,
But like, so many of us write all of those things off. We're like, oh, I've just been bloated for the past 3 days. Oh, I don't feel great after I eat lunch. Things like that, just so normal. Like me
Mhm.
growing up and thinking being sick all the time was normal.
Yeah.
We've
And
just,
I mean, I'm sorry to cut you off, but like I think also as women, I think also because we go also through monthly hormonal changes. I think also we kind of, I don't know, sometimes I think we're like, well, I'm on my period, so I just need to eat that ice cream with the chocolate. And I think it's like we give ourselves permission, right? Or same
mhm,
thing like, and the funny thing is like, what I find a lot also, because I remember when I was pregnant, right? People are like, "Oh, but you're pregnant, so that's okay. You just have to eat. Just eat whatever you want." It's like people give you permission. Everybody's like, "Oh, just eat as much as you can, and don't worry about what you're eating." And you know what I mean? Like, "Oh, it's
yeah,
okay. You're just craving a lot of sweets or whatever." You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's like people give you, like, I guess society gives you permission. Like, okay, well, it's okay for you to eat a bunch of bad stuff because you're going through all this stuff, which, like, in the
yeah.
end result, I'm realizing, well, it's not. It doesn't matter. You should still be eating a certain way, no matter what's going on in your life.
Yeah, it should be like even more so. Like,
Yeah.
because you don't feel great or because you're craving things so much, you should be paying attention to what you're eating even more so to make sure you're getting enough calories, make sure you're getting enough
Yeah.
nutrients, all of these things. But society as a whole, like, we have an obesity and an overweight issue, and it's very prominent. And a lot of the times when people are actively trying to get healthier, actively trying to make good decisions for themselves, choose healthier foods, a lot of the people around us, even some of the people who really care about us, can push back just
Mhm.
based on their own insecurities. And it's
Mhm.
something that my husband has actually run into a lot because he works for a trucking company.
Uh-huh.
And he has people come in all the time giving him a hard time for eating healthy. But I always have to remind him this is coming from a place of these people see you taking care of themselves. And one, they might not know how to do it. And two, they wish they could take those steps for
Mhm.
themselves too sometimes, but they're not willing to put in that effort.
Mhm.
So it brings out a little bit of resentment in some people, and they might not even realize it.
Yeah.
And that's why so many people are like, well, won't you just eat this piece of pizza? Or why won't you go out to drinks with
Yeah.
us? Things like that. People even say those things to me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, like, I enjoy feeling good. I
Mhm.
intentionally make these choices to make me feel better. But it is that enabling, like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm secretly doing it, so I want you to do it too. So I don't have to feel as guilty about me making those decisions.
Yeah. No,
But we're
totally.
all, yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. I totally see that. And especially with I mean, same thing like I said with the kids, they're like, "Oh, but he can eat this. Why can't I have Doritos?" I'm like, "No, 'cause Doritos are really bad for you." Like, I mean, or like, or why can't, and with a lot of, I mean, like you said, different I mean, I saw it even, I mean, like you said, it's even so much as whenever I last year decided, I totally overhauled, I basically went completely plant-based. I mean, first I went really towards vegetarian, you know what I mean? Just to
Mhm.
clean myself up, and then I incorporated some animal protein after some time. But at first, same thing, my family's like, "Oh my god, but you can't live off of just greens, you know what I mean? You need some stuff, but you always ate like that. Well, why?" You know what I mean? Because it's the whole thing of like, well, I grew up eating, and of course, like where I grew up, we eat a lot of cabbage and sauerkraut, and just different stuff. But just because somebody grows up on stuff doesn't mean that sometimes it's good for their body, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
well, but and same thing when my parents would be like, well, but I'm like, well, yeah, you have all this stuff because why don't you just cut out XYZ, and then you're gonna feel better. Oh, but I've been eating this for 50, 60 some years. So like, why, I'm not gonna change now. You know what I mean? It's that thing. And,
Mhm.
and like you said, like with your husband, what he's experiencing with that environment, it's like, oh, but all of our friends, we eat this, and we go out, to dinner or whatever, and everybody eats the same. So why not? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And it's just really, I find it really takes a lot of, I think, I guess, I don't know what the word is, but I guess, like, just it really just takes a very strong, mental, I guess, not capacity, but like you have to be really strong-willed, I guess. Maybe that's the right
Yeah.
word. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To really be like, okay, no, I'm gonna eat, let's say, the salad, or I'm gonna have that, wild caught salmon with some asparagus instead of,
Mhm.
loading it, or maybe the baked potato without loading it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just
Exactly.
really those conscious decisions, Yeah.
Yeah. And they're the hardest ones to make, especially after we're essentially retraining ourselves when we change the way we eat.
Yeah.
And you have to allow yourself that space and that time to not be perfect every time, but also allow yourself to build up that
Yeah.
muscle of having kind of that willpower that everyone talks about. And it's
Hmm.
like that's a muscle. Like it's just like when you learn how to do push-ups, like the first
Oh my God.
however many, you're going to wobble, you might fall on your face a few times, but if you keep after it and you keep doing it, soon you'll be able to look back and you can knock out 10 no problem.
Yeah.
But
My
same
my
with our
kids,
food choices.
my kids, when I was trying to do push-ups, because my kids are so, they're small, they're skinny, they're, you know what I mean? They're like super athletic. Like, when they saw me first time doing push-ups, and I was doing, those push-ups like on your knees and stuff, and they're like, Mommy, this is how you do a push-up, and then one of us like with one hand, and I'm like, and like, oh, is it because your legs are so big, that's why you cannot do like I'm like,
Don't
yeah.
love kids.
But then like, okay, we'll just keep going. You'll get there. I'm like, okay, thanks for the encouragement, like.
Oh, I love it.
But like, let me ask you this. So how do you, I guess, tell us a little bit about, I guess, do you have like, I'm assuming you have like a program or something that you have for your clients, or I guess maybe something that you have coming up, I guess, or tell us a little bit about, I guess, how you do your program, and also if you have anything that's coming up, maybe that somebody that's interested, I would love to maybe join you on that.
Yeah, definitely. So my main program is Accelerate Your Vitality. So
Mhm.
I work one-on-one with clients. I also have a new group program launching at the end of this month, which I'm really excited about. So I'll be doing a challenge before that, which
Mhm.
will be focused on integrating small habits.
Mhm.
Because if you take care of your habits, they're going to take care of you. So we do this skyrocket 3 days of like laying the foundation, what habits you need to really
Mhm.
start to accelerate your vitality. And then I also have an online course where if you are just one of those people who's like, I'm just going to learn this, then you can take it and you run with it. But all of my programs are based off of me teaching you nutrition, teaching
Mhm.
you the why behind the what. Like,
Yeah.
yes, I'll give you all of the tactical things that you need, but working on the mindset behind it, really learning why, because of the pushback that people get when they
Yeah.
change the way they eat. I want to arm people with the knowledge to be like, I'm certain what I'm doing is right for my body because now I know why. So if they're ever put in that position of somebody being like, why don't you just eat the pizza? They can be like, well, actually, it's because my metabolism needs this
Yeah.
and I'm trying to work towards this.
That's
So that's what I have going on.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, that sounds very, that sounds, I mean, it's good because you're starting with the little habits, which is important. And also mindset. I think like mindset, that's the one thing also I work so much with clients on, because it doesn't matter what it is that you do. I mean, I work with them more on like business and establishing their business, or and it's sort of, when you're coming, let's say, from working, and then you're trying to become an entrepreneur, or really, you have an idea that you really want to start, and then it's just the mindset. It's just a lot of it is like, well, I don't know if I can do it, I'm pretty sure it's very similar to when it comes to nutrition and health. It's just worded, I guess, maybe differently, and it's just so important. It's like I find myself, like I said, just working a lot of mindset, and sometimes people don't understand, well, why do I need to do this? Like, why do I need to set goals? Like, why do I need to like do affirmations or different stuff? Like, why do I need to read this stuff? And it's they're like, I want to make six figures. That's the whole thing, right? But it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, but you cannot get to six figures with your same mindset. Like, you need to switch your mindset and work on that, because otherwise, you're gonna be in the same place, and you're still gonna be, doing whatever you're doing, right? And it's like sometimes I feel like people just don't understand that, you have to set the foundations, like I said, with your, I guess, your habit, challenge, and then from there you go on to the big stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it's exactly the same thing. Exactly. And that's where I pulled everything that I learned from my health and fitness journey
Mhm.
over towards building a business because I knew what I really needed to work on and what needed to come first
Yeah.
before just showing up and thinking that I'm going to make $1 million.
Oh yeah. No.
I wish it was that easy. Don't we
Yeah.
all?
I know, like I remember, my background is in real estate, and it's like I remember when, I would have new agents come on, and for people think like, okay, hey, I watch HGTV, and basically what happens is like, you get your license and you roll out of bed, and all of a sudden, $1 million appears in your bank account. It's like, oh, that doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? It's like it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Welcome to reality.
But it's just like, well, on HGTV, it's, like, because they make it seem like it's so easy, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
well, that's not reality. This is not how we do things on a, regular thing. But it's funny, yeah. So I'm pretty sure, like, everything is very similar. I mean, it doesn't matter. What I'm finding is like, it doesn't matter if it's, like you said, health, nutrition, business, whatever it is, it's all very similar, because it's still, like I said, it takes a lot of work, and just really reprogramming the person into, I guess, just a better version of yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it all starts with the belief in yourself to make it happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Cool. And so the challenge, is that on your page, or is that, I guess what we can do is maybe you can send me the links, and then I'll add everything to the video, like on the comments. So if somebody
Yeah,
wants to try and sign up to for a challenge or whatnot, they, because I think it's important. I mean, you have to take care of your health in order to take care of your wealth, right?
yeah, exactly. Healthy people actually make 23% more than unhealthy people.
Yeah. Wow. That's an interesting statistic. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so it's proven.
yeah, but I can see that. Yeah, because you know what? Because like you said, your mindset is better, right? You're more focused, you have more energy. Plus, you're not feeling like, oh, you don't have that imposter syndrome, or just the whole constant of doubting yourself and just thinking, well, my friends are this, and yeah, so I can see that. I never knew about the statistic, but that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
really good to know. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll send you the link so you can post
Yeah,
them.
that'd be awesome. So yeah, I don't know. So I mean, it was really nice to talk to you, and you have, like I said, you have a lot of knowledge, and I would love for anybody, like I said, that is interested. Like I said, go take care of your health, because it's very important, and I'd love for you to share. And like I said, I mean, feel free to also always share anything in the group. You can also make a post or whatever you want and stuff. And I love to work with other female entrepreneurs, and just, connect and collaborate, because again, everything goes hand in hand, right?
Mhm.
So you have to take care of everything, because we are one body, right? It's not like we have one body for health, one body for business, one body for family. It'd be nice if,
Mhm.
I guess, I'm pretty sure in the future we're gonna have, I mean, I don't think we'll see that, but how people are talking about, cloning yourself and stuff like that. Would be nice to, somebody being in the kitchen right now making lunch for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I'd take a nap.
Yeah, right. So, but yeah, so yeah, well, it's nice to speak with you, and thank you so much for, for taking the time. And like I said, if there's anything else, I guess, that you want to share with the group, yeah, let me know. Other than that, I guess we can, cut it out, and we'll share your links, and hopefully get some people for the challenge.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed
Thanks,
chatting with
Leslie. It
you.
was so nice chatting with you. Bye.
Bye.